are you giving me? Alright, because there is no end product that the person can feel and say that, this is it, this is what I'm offering. So, when you're selling a product, the demands on you for the right technique of selling are not that high, in my opinion. I may be wrong, but I know that if I'm selling Ferrari, my life will be so much more easier. I just need to get that job, I can speak decently well, I need to brush up my knowledge about Ferraris, and I think I can sell fairly okay. And I use some basic fundamentals that I send a nice bouquet once a guy buys a Ferrari or champagne or whatever, and just follow up with them and ask them, do you have any other friends who want to buy Ferrari, stuff like that. But services is a completely different ballgame. It's a more long-term kind of a relationship. The interaction is fairly long. In product sales, possibly you may not meet that sales guy ever again. So even if he's obnoxious, you may overlook that. The person or the salesperson, in my mind, in a product sale is not that important. Tomorrow, if we have a good Apple store here in Chandigarh, the real Apple store, not the agents who sell that, irrespective of who the guy is, you just go and buy an iPhone 4 or whatever, right? Because the product is amazing. But that's the beauty of Apple. I was there in San Francisco and I saw their store over there. They're selling a product which is so well known, but those guys are so passionate about selling. These are guys who are college going students, these are doctors who have just taken a break because they just love Apple products and they're selling it so passionately. They look at your body language. I was just there, I was just looking here, and there were two people coming behind just asking me, sir, can I help you? And they do it so well, and it's like they're just like singing, how was your day today, sir? Can I help you? And it's a completely other thing over here. You go and try and get petrol pump, do petrol pump over here, the guy won't even give you a smile. You go and buy some to a shop, it's like he's doing a favor to you. It's a whole completely different ballgame. In services sales, which is what you guys are going to be doing in ISEC, people will not be fooled by your exterior personality. Alright? It may help you, but it's not the only thing that is important. Okay. Alright. Any questions, guys, so far? I have 2 more slides to cover, and I think then I have a small video to show you guys. Okay, now the fundamental question is, why is it that people will not buy from me? Why is it that somebody will not buy from you? There are primarily 6 reasons. Okay. Number 1, the person does not have a need. You're trying to sell him something that he doesn't want. If you try and sell me a frock, I won't buy it. I don't have a need. I don't really. Second is no desire. Right? Sometimes you need something, but you might not need it as well, but you might buy the thing just because you have a desire. Right? For example, how many clothes do we need actually? Why do we wear clothes? You just need 1 jean because the jean will last you for 6 months, right? Maybe 2 because once you can change at least. But in reality, as far as need is concerned, you don't need many. How many jeans do we have? Average person has 2 or 3, sometimes more, right? How many shoes do we have? So if you look at those things, you realize that people end up making buying decisions based on desires and not necessarily. Third is, don't have money. I will not buy if I don't have money. I may just love that iPhone. I may just, I just don't have that money. I have a desire for it. I really need it, but I can't buy it right now. I'll buy it next month, but not right now. Fourth is, there is no urgency to buy it. Right? The product is great, everything is fine, I need it and all that, but okay, fine, I'll buy it after 6 months. Just keep in mind all these points I'm saying, because when you're going to be selling, these are all the objections that you have to unconsciously keep at the back of your mind and try and address them, because the reason why somebody will say no to you will be based on these 6 primary things. Fifth thing is no trust. I do not trust you guys. I just don't get a good feeling from you. And of course, the final is no authority. All buying decisions are done by my wife. Sorry, I'm not the boss. Or you're selling something to someone who doesn't have an authority. So whenever you're trying to sell to someone, you have to make sure that these reasons are taken care of. No need, no desire, no money, no urgency, no trust, no authority.
One more like if they will not buy because he's not confident about his product.
Yeah, that's on the selling side, right? Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point as well. That if you are not able to, but here's my point to you. If as a buyer I can afford an iPhone 4, I have a need. No, I'll believe you. Trust me. Even if you're a bad salesman, and I know Apple product sales, and I won't meet you again, right? You're a sales guy, especially in product sales. Like services sales, you're right. You have to be good in articulating what you're selling. Because unless you do that, if you walk into an ISEC appointment with an exchange partner and you say, you want interns to work with you, obviously he'll never buy from you, right? You have to articulate that. You tell them why exactly ISEC exchange program is so beneficial to them and it helps in philanthropy as well. Right? Well, that's a good point. Yeah. Anji.
You said that it be created when they don't need it, but sometimes there is an innovative product and they don't know that they need it. Yeah, before you need to make
absolutely.
Feel that
Absolutely. The whole idea about going and meeting them, sometimes you tell them, guy, you need this. He said, I might have a pressure cooker, but you might not tell them this is the latest. This will sense when you're coming 5 kilometers before and start warming itself up, or stuff like that. And then you create. See, you don't bullshit people. You have to be very sure that that product is something. If I had the money, I would buy on my own, because I know that that's going to take care of some pain. That's going to make the life easier for the person. If you first believe in that, then you can create that need. But don't be pushy on creating the need if you think that the guy is not really. You have to be very careful about being overly aggressive there. Then you will become a chairman. Then so don't try and create the need. Do try and create the need by giving them the vision that you have in your mind of that product. Okie dokie.
Desire, you mentioned, isn't it an instantaneous feeling like I'm walking through a market, I have a desire for a shirt or something. But after walking some other time, walking some more meters, I don't have it. So that desire should be created by the salesperson.
Absolutely. That's what marketing is all about as well. When they show you the iPhone 4, not being sold, they show you the brochure. You go and see the video. You basically try and create a desire. A lot of selling happens based on people's perception of buying. They want to buy because they want to outdo the Smiths. They want to make sure that जो आपके friends हैं who are having that cool gadget, you don't need that really, right? Or they want to create a desire just by showing you how it is. A lot of the branding and marketing effort that's happening is just to create that.
Not having a desire would be cause of failure. So
yeah.
That desire should be created by yourself.
My whole idea was putting this was that these are reasons why somebody may not buy. He might say that I have the money, I think I have the need, and all the other reasons I can buy. I have the authority, but I don't feel the urgency. And second is I don't feel the desire. But if you can somehow make them show it to them that it'll be really good if you have that. Tomorrow imagine me walking into a party wearing this nice Rolex watch because they're only 10 in Chandigarh, and then he'll create a spark in you, and you feel like, oh yes, I don't mind that, right? And then you will create the urgency because you tell them, when is the next party that you're going to? I said, oh, it's just around the corner, weekend. I said, okay, I'll try and get the product by Friday if I can. You have to be genuine on this. If you have a product there, like itself, don't bullshit, don't tell a lie. But that's what you do with words, right? There's a very fine line between telling a white lie and being genuine. Good salespeople are genuine. They don't necessarily lie. But it's about knowing what order do you tell different points to a client. Okay, I think this is the last slide I would like to go through. Then time's up. What are the mistakes to avoid? The entire session, what I thought of was that after this we would have gone into specifics of ISEC sales. Alright, because I've done a lot of ISEC sales as well. I've been out of ISEC, and I can tell you guys that what are the mistakes that we end up making. What are the mistakes that I made when I was in ISEC. So first things first, let's talk about what are the common mistakes that you have to avoid when you're selling. Number one, biggest mistake is you do not believe in what you're selling. How many of you, especially the new recruits, believe in what ISEC does? People who are not having the hands up, they are already half asleep.
We are.
Sorry?
You asked for new recruits.
Oh, sorry. Nice, you were listening. Awesome, great. So you cannot. What do you believe about the ISEC exchange program? I am a company who has never taken exchange. How will you sell the exchange program to you? Why is it beneficial? You may be sold on the idea because the MC and the EB has told you that peace and fulfillment of humankind potential, it's great, it's a wonderful way impacting the world one by one, changing lives and everything. That's fine. But I'm a company. What are you trying, like in the sense that how will it really benefit me as a company? Why should I go ahead for a philanthropic cause? I might as well give that money to a charity, right? Very serious question, slightly offensive as well to ISEC members. But unless and until I am very certain that ISEC's exchange program can help an NGO, can help a company get things that they cannot get done from people over here, and an ISEC exchange program and ISEC in turn can add value to an organization, and you're completely sold on that, you will never have that kind of conviction. You will never have that belief. Alright? Now, how do you create that belief? Next question. How do I believe in ISEC? How do I believe in the exchange program? Number one, talk to your seniors. Right? Learn a little bit more about it. When I joined ISEC, my biggest reason for joining ISEC was not to sell exchange. I had no idea about that. My objective was, it will help me gain skills when I'm in college to be a better sales guy, to meet corporates, to learn how to manage a company, an organization, to meet people from different backgrounds, etc., etc. But it was never that, I firmly believe in what ISEC does. Right? It all happens during the journey. When you're an ISEC, you get exposed to different things, and then that belief comes in. Number one, to get yourself to believe, please speak to your seniors. Number two, very important, read testimonials. For heaven's sake, if you're in the exchange department of a corporate exchange, please read testimonials of companies who have taken exchange from you, from ISEC. They will open your eyes to what people actually think. Because you don't, right now, fresh in college, you may not know about how companies think about the exchange program. Does it really benefit or not? And I think there are tons of testimonials as well. Alicia has sent me one as well, which we will fill up for Q blocks. Just read what is mentioned over there, and then you'll start realizing that, oh yeah, this is what companies feel. I can use this because this is what people have mentioned. Number three, talk to interns who are here. Right? Try and understand what kind of an impact has it had while they have been here. Has it made them a better person? Because if you realize that, then you will be able to sell it better as well. You'll have more conviction. Right? Any questions about belief part? Because it's the more you do, the better you get at it. Ji. Hanji.
You just said that you should believe in a product and it should be so good that you yourself get a chance, you should use it yourself. Like for example, if I'm selling it, it should be so good that even I myself should.
I can't afford a Ferrari, but I know I'll be.
If I get a chance.
Yeah,
Right.
That's how you make a career, right? ISEC is a different thing. Reason being, because when you get into a career tomorrow and you're a good salesperson, I would never sell a product or join a company which I don't believe in.
Just something else.
Okay.
Just for the internship program, if for example I am selling exchange, I myself like most of the times like when we go for partners,
Right.
they ask like, okay, so have you been on an exchange?
Yeah.
So I personally have been, so I tell them the experience, so they get more interested in that. So I think that's one of the things
That is absolutely.
person, like if you ourselves like already have been on the exchange and I think it's giving more clarity to know.
Absolutely. And you know what? That will help you tremendously even in selling, for example, to the outgoing exchange. When you talk to somebody else, we used to call it the SM department. Is it called the SM department? OGX. If you talk to more prospective members who can be part of the OGX department, you'll be able to save a connection. I had 6 months I was in Portugal, and I said they took good care of me. And these are things that my life has changed. I look at the whole world in a different way. Right? I had a family there in a way. ISEC members were there for me to take care of me. They will be sold. But if you were to go into a company now, because you're obviously not a company and you haven't taken exchange, how do you build that? By reading a little bit more about it. By reading more experiences of people, interacting with them, then you start thinking that, this is how companies get impacted.
Like for interns, if you are selling it, that's the OGX one. You are selling it to them, right? And the person asking, have you been to the issues, look, have you
No, there's no, in the sense, for example, I have never been on an internship.